That one, 06, 03. That's definitely taller. Both the lower collector and the upper collector are, they are both taller than this one right here. The lower collector and the upper collector. This one's more of a rectangle. That's, well, it's I wouldn't say square, but this landscape mode, portrait mode. There you go. So let's look at what they look like inside. All right. This is the inside. This is the 03. Let's open this. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. That's art. That's art right there. I'll come back to the throttle bodies. I know that's something we're talking about. So this is what it looks like. Oh, that's what it looks like inside. Look at these, right? Definitely different shape, right? That's the height and whatnot. Then this is the mating surface. Upper collector. And this is the dual runner stuff. Here are your plates. That's how they operate. All right. I'll discuss that shortly. So, looking at the shapes. This one is the 06. There you go. It's a lot taller. A lot more roundness going on. All these around. The ones that actually feed into the port. These other ones are all, what do you call that shape? Oblong or something? Half circle, square at the bottom. And these are all round over here. I guess this will cast like that. Have an interesting finish. I know for one they have oil. I turned the engine upside down and they had oil all over, so that's kind of on me. But then let me do my best to explain how the dual intake runners work. Something of beauty in it. There are the bottoms. So they're identical at the bottom, shape and everything. All right, so here we go. Let's open this one as an example. Pick your poison. With this solenoid here, it's not a solenoid. I'll call it a vacuum actuator. With that, so when you pull vacuum here, it pulls this rod over here. And as you can see, well, probably can't see. There's a rod here and another rod here, and because of the connection here, the way the mechanism is designed, they open in opposite directions. So this is what you have in here. Check this out. So for example, I'll just talk about some of the visible ones right here. So air comes in through here, through the throttle body, right? Then it goes into this cavity over here, right? Through here, into this cavity, then into this cavity, then, say, look at the last one, right? Air's gonna come in here, through this port over here, and then that will go into this runner over here, right? Opening into this runner, all the way to the last one here. Then it feeds down this port into cylinder 8. That's 8 over there. These are odd, these are even. 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. So, pretty long runner, right? If you think about it. For this, for this to go all the way, through out here, eventually to sink in there. At high RPMs, usually, I'd say that's when it happens, then these open up. And when these open up, basically you're looking at this, shorting it out. So when, so air comes in again, right? Air comes in here. But then when these open, instead of air, some of it will go through here. Instead of air going through here, they'll just take the shortcut over here, and there you go. It's going to make it there. So there's a shorter runner length, at least for the air that's needed. There's still going to be some air that goes there, but in general, under pressure, things take the paths of least resistance. Same thing will happen, say here, right? When closed, air is going to go here, into this runner over here, and then all the way into the number 5 cylinder. However, when you open these valves, when it opens up, air will just basically just go through here, and that's how they meet. Okay. That's what the dual length runner system does for you, and that's how it works. That's the layout of it. Here I'd like to offer a correction, or rather better explanation. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. This is the actuator. That is the one that with vacuum pulls this way and opens your dual intake runners, right? Alright, so let's fold this plumbing right here. Here we go. And this one here is the top one. There's a solenoid over here, right? Remember that. This is the 03 style. Okay, so there's a solenoid there. Then there's this one here. This if you follow this line, it goes all the way here through the top. Keep following that. And it ends out here, right here. Then this one from the middle comes and ends up here. That's the nipple I was referring to, right? The one right there, right? That one right there. So that's where that ends up. Then the other line we're looking for is this one, the top one above the solenoid. So this solenoid's got three lines going to it, or 3 lines to it. So you get this, and this goes here. There's a T right here, and if you follow it, then there's this, and that goes into your intake snorkel, right? The plastic part. The other T is just plugged right here. Okay. It's just plugged right here. So this is how I'm looking at it. You've got this, and this functions like a pitot tube, gets how much air you're sucking in through your intake, right? Through your, right before your throttle body. See how much you're demanding. Good. Takes that, and that creates a vacuum. Hangs out in here. All right. I don't know. This one's only got 2 terminals in there, so lets me know it's just a, I don't know if it's a signal. It just seems like it's on-off is what I'm being right? Being two-prong. All right, so then, however, you also have air from here, right? So there's a differential pressure, and the differential pressure lets you know basically what your demand, what your load is. This air then goes through that filter, a canister. I believe it's charcoal canister. I've not cut up into one of them, but I'll be doing that pretty soon, Then eventually this air goes back in here, blah blah blah, and into the solenoid. That's the way I'm looking at it. And then, from the solenoid down here, it gets deflected, into, and it causes a vacuum. Or maybe it's the other way. Either way, vacuum here, vacuum there, pressure differential, open, close. I guess it's something automatic, or rather, maybe the vacuum pressure is actually what actuates it. The difference in pressure between your demand and what you're actually getting, because when you open the throttle, basically you rush in more air. Maybe that's exactly what opens this. And what you have is just signal wire to actually tell you, hey, this is how much you're asking for. Because I know I once got a code for this. It was in the 06. It was so there are 2 solenoids here. There's this one and there's the evap one, the fuel one. So I believe this is the one, and it's located here in the 06. And it gave me a code. Fixed it. I mean, it was easy. There you go. Here's the second one. I believe this is this the fuel one? Well, here you go. You got another one. Manifold absolute pressure. I think that's what they call the map sensor. Can't remember. But wire that line that goes to nowhere. That helps. Alright, let's go look at the 06. Here's the 06. And again, you got, similar setup, right? You've got the canister here, and I moved it a little bit for this purpose. And you've got this tube right here. This one is after the throttle body, right? I'd say this is basically like the other one, the one that goes into the middle, right? Then air comes out, or at least I don't know if it's inlet or outlet. Then this air right here, this one actually goes back, and if you follow this very well, I'm back. And if you follow this, right, it goes to the bottom, right? So air from the outside of this canister goes to the very bottom of the solenoid. Yeah, as I said, this solenoid's given me a code before. Then this one here from the bottom, it goes right here. It's gonna be the second one. And then it's this tube right here. This tube I know goes into the intake right here, but it broke off, right? Then this one right here, well, wait a minute, no, not at all. This is it. This is it. There you go. So the one from the bottom, this is the one that ends up being the actuator, as I call it, goes in here and goes to the back, right? And as I said, vacuum makes this open up. Vacuum. Let's do this test. Okay, so I'm gonna put some negative pressure here. Means I'm gonna suck this end of the tube and watch what happens. There you go. There you go. Ugh, doesn't taste very good. Then this one right here, the top one, that is the one that actually goes into the intake, right? So a few things changed. The layout changed a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much the same old VK45 setup. And again, you'll be pretty much able to use the same one. This one right here, 2 prongs, and those are just signal. That's what tells you when you got a bad solenoid. Alright, it's not for powering it. You don't need to actuate that. Then this is the other one I was talking about. I know there's another solenoid here, and oh yeah, exactly. That line I call the line to nowhere. It's actually the vapors, fuel vapors. So I believe that's the fuel solenoid one. And this one takes air from the intake as well, so right behind the throttle body, you know. So vacuum and the Bernoulli principle is actually used extensively with the intake. It's pretty crazy. So these things, if you want your car to run right, make sure you got all your hoses in good working condition. As going over this actually gives me better appreciation. I usually address any vacuum leaks and cracked hoses, but more reason to do it. And as you can see, this one only has 2 hoses, right? So pretty much I'd say you have vacuum, you know, vapor fighting you, then vacuum just sucks it up. Except I'm trying to figure out, okay, so where does it go? So you've got vacuum, right? This senses your vacuum. This creates a vacuum. And when it creates a vacuum, what happens? Does this open up? Releases air? Evap service port. So where do your fumes go? This way or this way? Usually this way from the engine actually, but yeah, looking at it, it's just not making sense. Let me see again. Okay. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. Well, let me actually demonstrate. When you're all in it, right? Look at these plates, okay? And look at this cup thing over here. Can you see this? Let's do this again. Just for demonstration purposes. So, oh, I'm holding it. There you go. Let's talk about the throttle bodies. Well, first the layout. Okay, so scoot. There you go. The layout, looking at the top, that's what you got. You got your side entry throttle body. You got your front entry throttle body. Vacuum canister in the front, vacuum canister in the back. Because on this one, the evap canister is actually sitting here. On the other one, it sits in the front of the timing cover, right? So this guy right here, I already removed the mounting surfaces, but I can demonstrate over here. See these? That's what those two bolts do. You've got two cables. This one here is your throttle. This one is your cruise control. Okay, so throttle right here, cruise control. Usually a little more loose, and you can usually feel the vacuum kick. You know, once you hit the cruise, it has a little bit of a delay, right? Because of that. Then this one's a little more responsive. You know, this is what drives everything. This is how the manual cruise works, by the way. So this is your throttle, right? So your throttle, it operates everything, and then cruise locks the throttle like this. They go in tandem. All right. Anyway, so you've got this guy right here, and I showed a spacer. For whatever reason you want to run it without a spacer, cool, but it comes with a factory spacer over there. This spacer right here, right, the one that has coolant running through it. Leave that. Engineers know why to put it there. Don't remove it. don't plug your lines or whatever it is. Then so this guy right here, it's manually operated. However, you also have an electric operation to it. Right here, see this? And you've got a wire. That's an electric feed. I need to test it. I need to give it some juice or something to see if the throttle plate, the butterfly valve over here, actually opens. But I've always believed you've got a dual, so that's a demonstration for the end. And usually you can hear when you turn your key on, put it in the second position, you'll hear that a little bit of clapping. Right now it's all tight, but then here I'll go over to the other side and demonstrate, just show what the throttle body looks like on the other side. This is it. This one's all electric throttle body. And since I'm going to reuse it, I put a cap on it. A cap is equal Ziploc bag and zip tie. Smart, ain't it? And then you've got your one, combination setup. This one right here, one plug does it all. It's your throttle position sensor as well as your throttle actuator. All right. So as I said, I'll try to give this some juice, give it some power, see if that actually opens a plate. Hopefully don't damage this thing. Probably going to look at the wiring diagram to be sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. If this is how it ends, we'll tell my family I went out doing something I love. That did something. You hear that? You see that? There you go. So yeah, you got an electric throttle, and this plug right here is the one that actually controls it. So what's this? This is opening it. Man, it's quick. Don't blink, man. You'll miss it. Okay, so green, negative, onto this pin at the bottom. Positive on this one, opens it up. It's quick. So there you go. As I said, the 2003 M45 has a dual throttle. Did that move, by the way, during the whole process? Let's try it again. Let's watch it again. Okay, green is negative. Touch it on the lower right pin. Then give it 12 volts. Fully open. Let go. And there you have it, folks. That's how it works. Then I guess this is just a throttle position sensor. This actually just tells you where you are. This one actually actuates it. Okay? Good stuff. Pretty nice for the year, right? I'm gonna say this on the record. If for whatever reason you need an intake from either 2003 or 2006 M45. I've got these, and this is the dilemma I was in. Well, not really a dilemma, I know what I'm going to do. Is that there's a lot of beautiful metal over here. One, pay somebody to clean it up, then I can make something cool. And, you know, a centerpiece in the house, like a coffee table or something like that. However, cleaning that block is going to cost maybe, I think they quoted me something like $100 to clean the intake, because you have to clean the upper and lower. And I'm like, man, this is not, I'm not trying to do this for reassembly quality. This is just for art, you know. So either do that and get some, you know, pay a lot of money and then hopefully make something cool out of it. Or two, just take these things to the scrapyard and get the value for aluminum. I think I'm leaning towards taking them to scrap. However, if someone's interested in these, I'm willing to give them away. I'd rather see them go to good use than just get scrapped.